Very, very special day because we have with us the one and only Tracey Laguerre.
Hi.
Y'all don't know what type of treat you are in for. Do y'all know Tracey Laguerre? Say hi, Tracey.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and talking to you today.
Oh my goodness. As you know, we only have 59 minutes. I am going to, and here comes all of the DMs. I am going to open up chat. And so if you all have chat messages, you can place them in the chat. I know it's really early where you are, Tracey. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm so happy that you're here. I really, really am. It is truly an honor for me to, number one, have virtually met you and to have seen your work everywhere. And when I say everywhere, like you are worldwide known, and it's just such a privilege. And I'm fangirling. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. So,
You are so
uh,
sweet.
no, I'm like, who can ever say that they actually met um Da Vinci or Picasso and got to speak with them, so could you please introduce yourself and tell the audience, let them know who you are and say it with your chest. I love it. Thank you for being here. I'm just so excited.
Thank you so much. What a introduction. I don't know if I can top that, but I'll tell y'all a little bit about who I am and what I do. My name is Tracey Laguerre. I am an artist. I've been working in animation since I was 16, and I've done a lot of different um, types of projects with my art and animation. I've worked at Google doing product design and visual design for their various apps and digital products globally and domestically. I've worked at Cartoon Network, creating an original short for their Cartoons program. I've done children's books. So I really, that's kind of why I just say I'm an artist, because I can't really say I'm just a product designer or just a children's book illustrator or just an animation producer. I like making art. I like creative problem solving and um, doing that in ways that bring impact and value to society in really big ways. And so that's what I do.
I love that. I love that. And I think that what folks don't get sometimes is that, like what we were talking about before, you see the art in like this silent way. So
Mm.
we're interacting with apps all the time. We're interacting with your cell phone, the television, smart TVs, even down to even down to um your IoT devices within your home. There's art there.
Yep. Yep.
um can you elaborate just a little bit on, like, just the simple things and how you view them?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have a product that you want to bring to market, a public facing product, then you're going to need art. You're going to need personality. You're going to need branding, because why should they choose you? So what? You're the best product on the market. I mean, yeah, okay, that's great, but why should they choose you? Like, and for an example of this, I'll give an example of an app I worked on at Google. So we were creating an app for India to help them extend. I saw something. Thank you
Yes,
so much,
stop
Vilma. That's so sweet.
Yeah, very cool. Velma says such a great guest on the show. Yes, she is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So we were creating an app um, at Google for India that would help prolong the life of people's phones by, allowing them to, keep maintenance of their phone, delete files, all that kind of stuff,
Nice.
right? And the app was great, but there's a million different like file cleaning, keeping your phone clean kind of things, or like, hey, do you want to delete pictures? Kind of, there's a million of those apps.
Yeah.
So who cares that we did this one? And why would India care? Because a lot of people don't know this, but Google outside of America is still a very new presence. So it's not like we have the brand name power per se. At least when I was there working with our international team, like a
Mhm.
lot of times, like we would present to China and they're like, who cares? Like nobody knows who Google is. And like, and but in America, it's like this big household name,
Yeah.
So how do you get people to care about your product and what makes your product special and differentiate it and make it different and enjoyable for the consumer? And the answer is going to be art. It's going to be creative. Um, so we had this great product that, I mean, it did the job better than a lot of the other products on the market, but it didn't have a lot of users. And so I came in and I created a mascot and a visual identity for the product that will not only like entertain and delight people, but also like inform and help them throughout their user journey so that, they're coming back
Smart.
more often to the app, they're, invested and, and that the what the mascot I created is Tidy. It's a little bubble. He's a little blue bubble that lives in your phone, and it's really cute. I can show you him if you want, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
on my
you
website.
got him?
Yeah, it's on my website.
Oh, yeah, show.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, you can, I think you can share your screen.
Oh yeah, I can. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, let me. Here we go. So, like I said, I worked at multiple teams at Google, so I did do some Google Doodles. Um, but this is Tidy, who I was talking about before. He's a little
Too
bubble.
cute.
This is his whole little world. He has friends and stuff. But we
Got friends.
yeah. So I made this design for a t-shirt when we reached 100 million users because after we introduced this product, we reached 100 after we introduced the mascot, we reached 100 million users. So
Mhm.
we went from not being able to compete with other apps that did this to having 100 million users within a year.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so art works, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. I
it's
mean,
the mark.
it's
Sorry.
visually I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. No, please go ahead.
No,
I was just
I'm just I'm looking and I'm like, it's visually appealing. The colors are soft and pretty. And I could just imagine what that looked like on the phone. And then with it being there and you can just, and it's helping you and all that good stuff. How wonderful. How wonderful. Rewarding. Um,
yes.
user experience just a-okay. Loving that. Just wow. Tracy.
Yeah, and so I even created this style guide about who Tidy is and how we use him in the product in an appropriate way. So that fits with the Google brand, and a little bit about the power of cute and why cuteness works at retaining people's attention and focus, which is something you really want for an app like this. How it
Mhm.
helps people who aren't like digital natives really understand digital products because I think we are a little spoiled for choice here in America with technology. But like, if you are a mom of five in Bangladesh and your whole family is using your phone, um, you know, you're going to have a very different experience. So,
For sure.
art clarifies things in a way. Like, there's visual communication as well as just other types of communication. Some people read through pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so the ways that we do that, to enhance the product and just make things better, that's one example of
Mhm.
how we did that. Yeah.
I am just too blown away at the power of cute. And just that phrase in and of itself is everything. I was just talking to a group of friends. I want to say it was Thursday, it could have been Friday. And let me let you share here. And we were talking about, well, there is a such thing as an emotional investment,
Yes.
and the power of cute covers all of that. That's all encompassing. You really do. I know as a mother myself, if I had children, that small, I would be like, yeah, here, go ahead. And then once I get my phone back, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Now it's refreshing for me to utilize my phone. I don't feel overwhelmed,
Yep.
right? And I'm looking through, especially if I'm trying to find something on my phone. What a wonderful way to express yourself, number one, and number two, be able to have a great user experience.
Yes, it definitely brings out and shines a light on the utility of the project, and that's the point of all art. It's to enhance what's already there. I'm just bringing out all the great work everyone else has done in a way that's digestible for other people easily. So this is another one I did. It was a job finding app for I believe Bangladesh or payments. I'm not really sure. It was somewhere in Asia, but we wanted to help women be able to find jobs. It was a place where, you know, women didn't work
Okay.
really. So if a woman wanted to find a job outside of the house, there was a lot of risk involved.
Mm,
She wanted to be able to get there safely. She wanted to know that she wasn't in danger working, like she wanted to know her employer wouldn't take advantage of her in certain ways. And so we
right.
wanted to create a job app that works for everyone, especially these women who aren't in the job market in that particular country, to find safe, easy access to work. And so we created Cormo, and you can see we did a couple iterations of things. But what we landed on were these hands that you saw earlier. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, so we landed on this on the. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Let me
That's
see.
technology.
Right? Yeah, so we landed on this, a helping hand, to help you find work. And that was our brand personality. So it can be mascots, but it can also be, representations of things. Hands
Mm,
are hands are basically like words because you can use your hands to talk. So you're always trying to find
exactly.
ways to communicate with visuals. So this is what it looked like before, right?
Mhm.
This is what the app looked like before. We cannot launch it like this. I mean, we did launch it like it, but it was like a first launch kind of thing. And then I got my hands on it and brought it up to this level.
So now we have like a full color. There's
There's
everything.
identity.
Editing. Yep. Yep. Oh, wow. And what beautiful representation. Um, and I
Yes,
just love the full color. I am a color enthusiast. I love things that are colorful, and again, the power of cute. And this is very empowering as well, because if I was to
yes,
look at this, I would say, "Oh, okay, yeah, I know that I can press the button, and I know exactly what it is that I'm looking at." You know, I think that this is great. This is fantastic, and I like what you said about showcasing the work of others.
mm.
So you had the team that actually was coding, right? And
The
coded all of
engineers,
the
yep,
code. Yeah, all of those engineers that were coding all of this code, and you were able to translate that code into these beautiful renderings that we as consumers and the public can utilize and take advantage of. And then now we're all up in the circle of life. And now these women, these individuals are able to work, safely.
exactly, exactly, and that's the end goal. So, there's lots of different ways that art is used in inside and outside of tech products, because although these things are in product, we also did, like, a lot of, like, public facing, social media stuff too. So, I think it works in the product and it works out in the real world representing you when people aren't on the product, because you don't want people only thinking of your product when they use it.
Right.
So So yeah.
I absolutely adore what you were doing, and for the team um, that you were on, also kudos to them as well. You all worked exactly as a team. Can you take us back to 16-year-old you and and tell us about how you even got started? What
Mm.
gave you the spark?
That's a great question. This is a fun story. So, oh gosh. So I always knew I wanted to do art. Like, I think I always knew I was really into it. And so animation seemed really cool to me. And so I really started pursuing that around high school, thinking like, how can I make this my career? How can I like, you know, another another part of it was I didn't want to take the SATs. I didn't want to. And
What?
yeah, that was a big reason
Be
why
honest. Tell us how you really felt. No, I'm joking.
no, it's true. Because I heard if you went to art school, you didn't have to take the LSATs. And I was like, well, then I'm going to art school. Like,
No
duh.
brainer, right?
And what was funny is like on the practice LSATs, I did like totally fine. Like I got a pretty high score. It's just I didn't want the pressure. It was just so much pressure and it was just a real turnoff. And I was like, this test can't define me. I want to be an artist. I want to be like a businesswoman that does art and just do that. And so that's what I did. And there was a animation studio that had just opened up on top of a salon that my mom had went to downtown in New York where we were living at the time. And this is upstate New York, Orange County, where like, you know, there aren't any animation studios. It's not like we were in New York City or anything. But for
Yeah.
some reason, on top of this hair salon, suddenly an animation studio opened up. And my 16-year-old behind was so excited that I ran up there and I barged in and I was like, is this your animation studio? It's like the first guy I saw when I opened the door. And it was
How fun.
and it was his animation studio. It actually happened to be the owner. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I want to be in animation. I like would love to work here for the summer. Will you have like I wasn't about to let him say no. I just like
Good
insisted
for
on being there.
you. Yeah.
And he was totally freaked out because this like 16-year-old girl just bombards into his office. And he didn't really want to say no to me because I'm like a kid, you know? And so he was like, well, if your mom is okay with you hanging out here, I guess we could use some extra help for the summer. And so I asked my mom, and she was like, I don't care. Like, please take her, you know? And I think he was kind of hoping she'd say no so he could
Yeah.
get rid of me. But she was like, please take her. And he was like, well, shit. So then we were, then I was around for the entire summer and I was just like so in awe. It was just a little animation studio. He was just like an entrepreneurial guy with, with a like artist passion like me. I think he saw a lot of the same thing about, what he was doing in me because I was really passionate. And so he really took me, him and his wife, because I think his wife also convinced him to have me there for the summer.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I his wife was like, that's what our kid would look like. Because they were a mixed couple. So when they saw me, they were like, can you imagine our daughter in the future? And I was like,
Oh.
"Hey, this is really working out. This is
Right. It's all happening. It's all coming together.
So it was all just this one big chance and really working with that small production studio for that one summer. I worked really closely with them, like saw him, trying to get clients. I saw
Mhm.
him, doing budgets. He gave me assignments sometimes just so I could practice my animation. I lied to him, by the way. I didn't tell him I was 16. When he asked me how old I was, I said I was a 17-year-old college freshman. The truth is, I was
Wow.
a 16-year-old 6 months away from high school graduation. So,
Well, he knows now.
What's he gonna do?
What's he gonna do? Try to catch me, Kappa.
Yes, exactly. So that's how you get ahead, kids.
That's funny. Keep
But
going.
being
I love
yeah,
this story though.
yeah, but being that close and personal, in the background, it's like, being able to hang out with Walt Disney at his office while he's trying to get deals. You know what I mean? Like, I
Sure.
heard him on the phone, like, getting these deals. Like, we did a couple of commercials. I think he did the SNL ambiguously gay duo people too, as well. Like, um, we did a commercial for the mayor of the town. Like, I was part of all these really cool projects, and just seeing how he went from just a passionate guy who wanted to do this and, rented out a studio space and hired people, to getting clients. And like, for an entire year, that studio was working. I was really proud. Like, the studio only lasted a year. I think it folded after a year. But I was just really proud of the fact that, like, wow, in my hometown, there's something like this going on.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
it, and seeing it from the entrepreneurial side, combined with the art side, really made me feel empowered that,
Mhm.
yeah, I can actually do this. Um, and here's how.
Ooh. And here's how. And that brings us to chat again. Says Velma says, please write a book. Young people need to hear your story of determination. And I think that that's key, because a lot of folks would just stop, wouldn't they? They'd be like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do this, or, it's just not working out, so I'm just going to quit. But you did,
No, barge into the office and demand a job.
and lie about your age. But it wasn't really a lie. I don't know. That's not for me to tell. But you know what? Hey, it's your story. And so from there you went on,
Yeah,
and
from
what did you
there,
do
I
after
felt
that?
confident. Yeah, from there, I
Mhm.
felt confident that this was a real thing that I could really do. It's not just something I saw on TV or heard about that people are doing far away in California. It's real. And so I went to University of the Arts to get an animation degree
Mhm.
at 17, and I I grew up a lot my first time in college, those 4 years between 17 and 21, it was just a great time with friends. Did
Mhm.
I necessarily learn what I wanted to do for my career? Not really. I did a lot of experimental stuff, but I didn't feel like I knew how to make the type of things I wanted to make. I wanted to make television level, like, animated production stuff, and I didn't feel like I was there yet after I graduated. And it
Mhm.
made me feel a little disappointed, because I was like, okay, I've had this experience. I definitely don't feel like a high schooler anymore. I feel like I've definitely become an adult, but I don't feel quite where I want to be as an artist. And so I spent some time, by the way, the entire time I was in college, I was selling prints of my work. I've always been really
Nice.
passionate about, like, creating my own products. Like, I have an Etsy store where, like, I sell, like, my art and my products, because there's a certain point where, like, you're always making stuff for other people. You really want
Mhm.
to be able to make your own products, you know and
Mhm.
so I've always prioritized not only creating for other people, but creating for myself, so that um, people can you know, eh, support me as an artist, not just the products I work on.
Right, right. And we
Yeah.
can put your Etsy in the link in the description.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I I kind of snuck out there and saw some of your stuff, and I was like, cute.
Really?
Have. Yeah,
Oh my
the
god, thank
cutest.
you.
Yes,
Y
yes.
Oh,
So
so you
I'm
have the
going
link
though.
then.
Oh,
Do you
I
need
have
it, or
the
do you
link.
have it?
I have it.
Oh, okay, good.
So that, yeah, so when I do the edit, I'll go ahead and I'll put that in the link in the description, so that everybody will have it, for those of us that will go back and watch, because I think that it's super important to support our artists and support the community, not only just the support factor, but you really have some cute stuff. Like
Thank
you've
you.
got some really good stuff out there.
I
And
try.
I mean, come on. Come on. And I have a really good friend. Her name is Jade, and she would just go head over heels. So I'm just that's enough. I'm gonna
That
stop.
makes me really happy.
Yeah, she would just be completely just floored.
That
And
makes me really happy to hear because that's exactly why I do it. So, it's about the community. It's
yeah.
about, um, making what you wanna see in the world. I all the time, I feel like you hear all the time people say, "Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that?" They is you. Why don't you do it? Why don't you make what you wanna see in the world? If you see something that's lacking, there's a really nice what's that quote, that I heard the other day? It was like, "An absence in the market equals an opportunity," or something like that.
Ooh.
It was way more eloquent than that. Can't
You're still
I wrote it
dropping
down
gem
somewhere.
though. I love it.
But you gotta fill those gaps, and,
Yeah.
that's what I try to do with all of my work. So, yeah, I was, always entrepreneurial in that sense where, like, I'm making stuff. As a matter of fact, the first t so let me tell you about yeah, I went to University of the Arts, and I was freelancing and selling my own stuff at that point.
Mhm.
And, I'll tell you about how I got my first my first official, like, animation gig.
Do tell.
Yes. So it was at University of the Arts, and I had just, um there was someone coming that day. There was a speaker coming that day who was an old alumni, and he was really popular. His name was Anthony Shepard. He like had this really he did a music video for a band and it blew up like really big. Like he was like the biggest star to come out of the school at the time. And so he was coming to speak, and I was his student assistant for the day. So um, I, like took him out to lunch, hung out with him, like helped him set up for the presentation and everything like that. And um, I knew I wanted to like make the most of the opportunity of being so close to someone and who's been so successful and started the same place I was. So I um I set up a party, an after party for his talk at my house.
Good for you. That I keep telling folks the best way to network is to throw a party. Continue.
I okay, because
It's
I've
the
gotten so
best
many jobs
way
from
to network.
parties.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so I set up so being his student assistant, I kind of leveraged it. Like I told all my friends, like, yeah, so I'm gonna be hanging out with Anthony all day, and like, there's gonna be an after party at my house for sure. Like, if you want to be there. And so I started this whole like rumor mill kind of thing. And then so everyone's talking about, oh yeah, there's a party at Tracy's house after Anthony's talk. He's gonna be there. And so Anthony gets there for the day and we're hanging out, and I can tell he's kind of like, it's been a while since he's been back to his alma mater, so he's kind of nervous. And I mentioned to him, I'm like, yeah, so I'm having this party at my house if you want to like meet everyone. Like he wasn't I told everyone he was coming to the party. I didn't even ask him if he was coming to the party. I just told him there's this big party at my place. All the students are going to be there. If you want to come, then you can
For sure.
come.
Just finesse your way.
Finesse. You gotta finesse. The party went great. Hanging out with him all day went great. I think, everyone was all over him wanting to talk to him,
Yeah.
and so I was kind of like his security guard a little bit. I kind of kept him safe from, too many questions. And it just, we developed a great relationship that we felt like could turn into a working relationship. And he was like, hey, do you want to be the colorist on my next commercial? I'm doing a commercial for Ford Dubai. And that's how I got started.
Wow. Wow. That is powerful.
Yes. Yes, it was. I mean, it was just coloring in, his work, but it was my first big commercial contract. It was a big check, the biggest check I had gotten at that point doing art. Again, it was Ford Dubai. So I was just like, wow, I can't believe it was, again, a validation that this is real. People actually do this and can like live off of this and make money and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so after UArts, I went to Paris for a summer. And, I think it's important to, I'm sorry, my cat's over there fighting with something. I think it's important to live your life so that you have something to inspire your art, you know?
Mm.
Ginger, stop.
Now we have to meet your cat.
Yeah, okay. And then he runs away. Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what were you gonna ask? I'm sorry.
So I just want to let you know that Leslie Browder says that you called it into the universe. You just set everything up and made it happen, and we love that. And then PJ, our good friend PJ, wanted to know, Tracey, do you have any favorite software that you use for your art?
That is a good question. And thank you, Leslie. That's really sweet. So my favorite software, it's funny enough, my favorite software isn't really used in the industry in America at all. Um, my favorite software is TV Paint. It's a French animation program that is just stunning. It makes it look like you're really working with pencil and paper like the old classic way, but on a
Mhm.
digital format. And it is just absolutely stunning. But they really only use it for productions in Europe because there's really not a pipeline for using TV Paint in America as much. Like mostly in America, they're using Toon Boom, After Effects, Photoshop, Premiere, um, Flash. So if I'm talking about my personal favorite, TV Paint. If I'm talking about what I tend to use, um, yes, the cat, because this cat's about to get it's behind beat because I'm a little I'm like, stop interrupting me.
You guys
Uh,
know how much I love cats. So I love I'm an animal fanatic, but keep
yes, cats are the best.
continue.
But yeah, so most of the time when I'm working, I use Flash, Toon Boom, and Photoshop. Those are the three primary programs I use. Uh, I'm also like really into like After Effects and Premiere and like post stuff like that. So, but most of the time we're not in post. Most of the time we're in pre-production. Like I'm only really doing post personally when it's like my own project, because usually if I'm with a client, I'm hands-on for pre-production, but post is, I'm overseeing it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
You're just your story up to where we're hearing about the Ford project in Dubai is just amazing. And I know that you said you used the word "I just colored," but can you I hate to minimize that, but that is such a beautiful thing. For the simple fact that it was like what you said, your first big check, but the way the moments that it took for you to get there, when we look back and we chronicleize 16-year-old you barging into the family workspace above the salon, hey, can I have a job? Then going to school because you didn't want to take the LSAT, then saying, you know what, I learned a whole bunch of stuff. I met this guy that was a really big deal, and I said that we were having a party in honor of him, but he didn't know that he was actually invited. And then here we are, these months, years, or whatever later, and I'm working on a Ford project in, for the market in Dubai. right? And I'm coloring. But for the general audience, for the people that are watching, I don't know if they truly admire the fact that you got to work on something so huge. That's not little.
Well, it was just the start, 'cause it was like a snowball effect after that, you know what I mean? It was just the start of something great because,
Mhm.
I mean, since then, I've done my own commercials. I've done, lots of different stuff. So, it
Yeah.
was really like it was really like a precipice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So from then on, now, I mean, the stuff that we've seen, right? And all of the speaking that you've done, and can you can you go tell us more?
Oh, yes, sure. I'll continue until we're
Yeah.
at present day. What Liz said, we women see opportunities and move on. Yes, yes. And I think it's so important too because in my industry, there aren't a lot of women, especially like Black women. Like, I think the last Amberg inclusion report said that out of the animation industry, only about like 2%, there's like only like 2%, 1% Black women
Mhm.
working um as like directors, or and it's just a really small number of us. And
Right.
so I remember when I was starting out, I didn't see anyone who looked like me doing what I did. And so that was a big reason why I wanted outreach and documentation to be a big part of my artistic practice, because you know, I want when 16-year-olds or 14-year-olds or high schoolers just look out and say, can I really do this? Can people like me, be
Yes.
successful at this? I want them to be able to find me and say, oh, yeah, you can. She did it. And, feel like
Absolutely.
empowered. I just want them to feel empowered because it can be, um, if you don't think that someone like you is like has a chance, then that's not going to be a winning attitude, you know like I knew when I saw that there was a lack in the space. I didn't feel like it was because people couldn't do it. I felt
Mhm.
like it was I felt like it was because I had to fill the gap, you know
Mhm.
so yeah, I don't know.
No,
I
you
hope
do
it
know.
inspires.
You do know. It's you have to be the one. The
Because yeah,
one. You have to be the one. If not you, who?
yeah.
And I'm so glad that you chose this profession and that you're here to help others and inspire others to take a leap of faith and be like, I can do it and you can too. It's I'm so happy for
I've
you.
definitely been I've definitely been, like, the first a lot of times for things I didn't think
Yes.
I'd be the first at, like, my short on Cartoon Network. I I'm the first Haitian woman to have, like, I think I'm the first Black woman to have an original short. Um, there there is, another, Black woman with a show on Cartoon Network, Tiffany Ford, but her
Mhm.
show is a spinoff, so it's not an original. But
Okay.
I believe I could be wrong on that, but it seems like I'm the first one to do it. And so it's crazy, right? Because we're in 2023. Like how am I the first one? Like I'm like, that's weird.
It happens like that sometimes. It happens like that. What
But
uh,
I'm sorry. Let me get back. You asked
yeah.
me to continue my story. Let me get back to what I was saying. So I spent a summer in Paris. Um, you know, being 22 and having a good time. I was I actually did like a sublet. So there were some other animators who were friends of some of my friends who were going to be going to Ireland for the summer, and they had
Nice.
an apartment in Paris that they were like subletting out for the summer. And so they were like, "Hey, do you want to sublet our apartment while we're in Ireland?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So I got to like live and stay in Paris like a real Parisian, and it was just a beautiful experience. Traveling, I feel like, just really enriches you as a person. And so after I came back from Paris, I moved to California, and that's when I started at Cal Arts character animation. And it was definitely the place I wanted to be, because it was the place, the alumni list is star-studded, of course, but it was
Yeah.
the place where, everything in the industry seemed to be like coming out of. It was a place where I knew I would learn what I was wanting to learn, what I felt like I was missing, you know? And I did. Uh, and it wasn't only the learning and the, phenomenal education I got there, but it was also like the community and connections that I made is what actually led to me ending up at Google. Because it was at Cal Arts that I was, I got my internship with the Google Doodle team. And it was my internship with the Google Doodle team that got me my full-time position after. So
Wow. The span of the career is just amazing. Amazing. And the way that you are looking, your focus and your scope, your perspective of how art impacts tech, life. Please write a book about that. Please write a book about that. Because I think that it would open the eyes of a lot of folks, and help them to understand why we do the things that we do and why we interact with our technology the way that we actually do, right? Um, so do you want to share some of the beautiful things that you've actually created with us?
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
You're more than welcome to. It's your world. It's Tracey's world. Tracey's world.
Oh my gosh. Here, I'll go to my website. You tell me you tell me what you're interested in, but so yeah, I'll show you a little bit about some of the so this was a commercial I did for Oscar Mayer. Um I produced and directed and did the art direction and led the team and stuff like that. So here it is.
So cool. Just so and yummy. Now all of a sudden I'm hungry.
Yes,
That's
yes.
so neat.
And so here's a little bit about the production. So this is like a still I did of the basic idea of what I wanted it to look like. And then a couple character designs I did for our Egyptian queen.
Ooh, pretty.
Yes. And then they were so specific. They had so many notes about the sandwich meat. It was crazy. I designed this sandwich like 3 different times.
Wow.
And then the ghost. And then this was the original concept that I pitched to them. I just sent them this sketch because they asked me like, "Hey, we're trying to sell like turkey slices, and so we just kind of want to know like what's your lunchtime fantasy?" Like that's what we want the commercial to be, like a lunchtime fantasy. And I was like, well, my lunchtime fantasy is that I'm not alone eating a sandwich on the couch with my cat. I'm an Egyptian queen eating a sandwich surrounded by buff men, a tiger,
As
sphinxes,
you should. Yes.
pyramids.
Yes.
And Oscar Mayer
Oh,
saw this sketch and they're like, we love that. We love that idea. And so I brought it to life, This
Mhm.
was a really fast sketch. So, I mean, it's obviously nothing. I mean, it's not very impressive, but we brought it to this. So you can see how like where it starts and when we raise the fidelity to where it ends up.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
And then while I was at CalArts, I worked at BuzzFeed as a animation producer, creating lots of little different um, lots of different I guess mascots or mini shows, just these characters. So like we had Bogs, which was like these little germs that like you can't see them, but if you zoom in really close everywhere, they're everywhere, and they're
Oh
just like
no.
you and me. Um, so here's some Bogs. So all of these were supposed to be like memeable moments and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like for social sharing and things, And we did another one called Starlight Stressing, and it's about a fairy that only comes up when you're feeling extremely anxious.
Aw.
So hold on. Here we go.
What I in today.
Hold on.
Thank you for coming in today. I'm so pleased I can share more of what I have to offer. Heyo!
Oh no, not now.
Let's get started, shall we? Tell me about one accomplishment you're really proud of. Oh, what about that time you pooped your pants in the second grade? You should share that. Tell her.
Pants?
Excuse me? My work here is done. Are you okay?
Totally relatable. Starlight is totally.
Yes. So we would do lots of relatable social moments. Like here's another one I created, Tamika, the carefree girl.
This is the rhythm of the night. The night. Oh yeah.
Yes. So, and then we had this Disney princess thing where this was just so fun. So it's what's your fetish based off your Disney princess, and it's like an Instagram game. So you swipe and then you see all your princesses, and as you go through you decide which princess you are, and then you find out what that princess's fetish is, and it's a good time. Not safe for work, but it's a good time.
Yeah. That's too cute.
Yes.
It's too cute. I
So
love it.
BuzzFeed was fun because you could do like adult topics, you could do like, the cultural climate stuff, you could do the trendy stuff. And so it was kind of like this no boundaries kind of situation, which was really
Mhm.
great. And then I've done visual development for other people's shows. So like if someone's making a pitch Bible and they need characters, or if they're presenting something to stakeholders and they need visuals, I'll do
Mhm.
visuals for that, whether it's character designs like this one, or if it's, what's it called? Here we go. Here's another one I did for PBS.
So cute.
And then, so let me share something that your audience might really be into. Some more of my web and app work. So, creating more like brand stuff and illustration assets for brands. So like this was like a juicing thing, and so I created like this healthy lifestyle, colorful identity for like a juice product,
Wow.
and what that might look like if we like built out the site, how we
That
use
is
the icons.
adorable. Yeah. Oh, the colors are just, it's like eye candy.
That's the point. Yeah. You want to drink that juice, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah, so these were fun to design. And then I started I started working on like an idea for an app. Just
Mhm.
oh, this was the website I created for the juice thing. Um Again, I like making things pretty. So
Yeah. I just have to ask, like, your choice of color is impeccable.
thank you.
How do you even do you go through and choose your palette first, or what's your process for that?
That's a great question. So, a lot of my color instinct comes from like, the first time I saw art, and I'm really inspired by Haitian paintings and like Caribbean paintings and just
Okay.
artwork from the Caribbean and stuff like that. And it was the first artwork I ever saw, like as a baby. And so the vibrancy of the colors, like that kind of color sense, I really feel like I I mean, I'm from there, so it's a part of me, but also the fact that it impacted me so young, it really came out over time, and I still reference a lot of that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, because like I'm looking, and even in the animation, in some of the stills, it's like the color theory is just, it's it's impeccable. You just don't miss. It's like you're walking, talking Pantone.
You
It's you're
you can thank all the great Caribbean painters who came before me because they're really my inspiration. I'm really just trying to follow in their footsteps.
yeah, beautifully done. Beautifully
So
done.
so I attempted to make an a app per se, like an idea for an app really,
Mhm,
where like, I was trying to solve a problem. And so, how hard it is to find a salon sometimes if you're a Black woman. And so
mhm,
I created an app that was called Sisters, that it's basically just all salons for natural hair, and you can rate and review salons. Salon people can like advertise on there, um, give discounts, sell products, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of works for the consumer who's looking for a hairstylist that can do their texture of hair, but also for the hairstylist who's trying to find that consumer. And so
mhm.
just kind of conceptualizing that, doing research about it. And where are the visuals for this one? I don't think I did any iconography for this. I think I just researched like who the demographic would be and how we'd find them. But I think this was all the art that I made for it. But yeah,
It's stunning.
And then so most recently I created Sunshine Cartoons. So after I left Google, I created my own company called Sunshine Cartoons, where I create and produce my own products. Again, like there's always that balance when you're an artist between, working for other people and working for yourself. Because it's like you'll switch from being like, oh wow, I really want to make this thing, to being like, oh wow, I want to do something for myself, like all the time. It's never one way or the other. So
Mhm,
I created my company, and that's where, I Love You, Jocelyn came to Cartoon Network.
mhm.
And I also have this web comic that I did. But just here are some of the early, really early I Love You, Jocelyn
Wow.
visuals before Cartoon Network.
Mhm.
Um, but, this is part of what I presented to them for the project so that they can get a sense of what I was seeing.
That is just I'm so blown away at just the sheer beauty. Uh it's 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 just you're just amazing. It's like we never seen this before, and to be able to really just take it all in. It's just I'm at a loss for words, and I can talk.
Well, that's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, and all this is on my website, so, they can click
Yeah.
through. I just don't wanna click through everything because I know we only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then some of my illustrations, like I said, I do children's books. So
Mhm.
here are some of my illustrations. I love exploring images about, culture and identity and history. So like I have Anna Kanoa, Princess of Haiti, Marie Claire en Rose, First Empress of Haiti. I have stuff that studies like Black fashion after, the revolution in Haiti and how people expressed their newfound freedom with clothing. So like that's what this picture is about. I like Martin, so I drew Shanae.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so I put
There's your
story.
Lizzo.
Yep. Three Little Pigs, but make it the Jonas Brothers.
We love that.
Church hats and the people who wear them.
I think one of the ones that I saw was was it Black Mirror that you had done?
Oh, oh yeah. Okay, hold on.
I
Let me see
think
where
that
that
was
one
one
was.
of
That
the
was an old
ones.
one.
And I just fell in love. It was just, it's so nice. And I said, I have to buy the print.
These are some of the old prints I used to sell in Philly. So like sometimes my friends would have me draw them. So like this one is my friend Jackie, and her print sold really well. Like it wasn't just her that bought it, which was really funny. So and then I drew my other friend, and people brought his print a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because I never really, I mean, I make stuff and I like everything I make, but I never know what other people are going to react to. I don't know
Right.
what people are going to say, oh, I have to buy that and put it on my wall. Or like,
Yeah.
I never know. I just make stuff because I like it or I want to see it. And like this one, I made Halloween stickers based around like voodoo, but actual voodoo culture,
Mm-hmm.
because again, I'm Haitian, I'm from the Caribbean. I use that all the time in my art. When people see my art and portfolio, they know that like I have a perspective and that's where it's coming from. So like it has like Baron Samdi, the Death Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's called in English, but um, and then like this little voodoo priestess sitting here all sexy. These like sigils. Like this one is like is an anti-racism love spell. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just little spooky thing, tarot cards, cats lighting
Mm-hmm.
candles, just fun stuff, and like I felt like I wasn't seeing that anywhere, so I made it.
Right. You filled the gap.
Yes.
You filled
Yeah.
the gap.
And sometimes I just like drawing pretty girls, scantily clad, as you can see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do. This is one I did of Yemeya, the African goddess of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
You might also know her from being the Starbucks cup lady.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did this collection where I just did a bunch of different African goddesses like Yemeya and Oshun. And
One of
I
my
was,
favorites that you've done.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that one is mostly on my Etsy. Um, but
Told you I was looking through and I was like, this is so good. It's so good.
let me. Okay, yeah, here we go. I mean, hold on. Maybe if I just share would be better. Please feel free to interrupt me if you like want to like switch gears or talk about something different, but I'm just going through things. But yeah, so like I would do these like stickers of like Yemeya, goddess of the sea. I have Oya, goddess of death. Goddess of weather. Oya, goddess of. Why don't I have these pictures? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see a way that I can like flip through the pictures so that way because I feel like you're just looking at like a small thumbnail, and I want to actually show you the image.
I'm so excited to have this conversation because it's like I said, how often do you get to actually speak with the artist? So
Here
whatever
we
you
go.
want, you can do. I don't care.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you can see this now.
Yes, this is
Perfect.
really good.
Okay, yeah. So here we go. So, you know, I remember like people know all about all the Greek and Roman gods, right? Like
Yep.
we all know Aphrodite, we all know Persephone, we all know Zeus, we all know all of them, right?
Yep.
And like I wanted to do that for African goddesses and representations of nature and spirituality and stuff in a way that was like, you know, kind of like Lisa Frank meets like all those all those like all those like Athena and like all those Greek goddess things I saw growing up that like they were everywhere, right?
Mhm.
But I wanted to do that with my own spin, but like very colorful and like fun and like make it something that like I would have liked, you know, to
Right.
buy as a kid. And or as an adult. I don't think this has an age group really. I think it's more
Mhm.
about just the subject matter being presented. So I started researching all these African goddesses. Of course, it started with Yemaya, the beautiful goddess of the sea. But then I started doing all the other ones and learning about them. And it was really interesting, you know, like Okun, goddess of secrets. She's just messy as hell. Like, you know, like she knows everyone's tea kind of thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And she's rich and she lives at the bottom of the ocean and she knows your secrets.
Why is it that they always live in the water? What is that all about?
Well, water has a lot to do with wealth in this kind of Orisha context. So
Yeah.
like the goddess of prosperity, she also lives in the water.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Yemaya's kind of a wealth bringing spirit as well. So she lives in the water. But then like it's interesting because things about knowledge tend to be the earth. So like the
Mhm.
goddess of plants, Oi, I I don't know how to pronounce her name.
It's hard.
Io, the goddess of plants, Io. She knows all about herbs. She's like a specialist in herbs and everything. Um, but she has like a magic quill that gives her like infinite knowledge about plants. So the earth is
Mhm.
associated with knowledge, it seems, and the sea is associated with wealth.
Mm.
And the underworld seems to be associated with innocence quite a bit because the the death goddess, Yahweh, death's sister, the reason that she lives in the underworld is because that she was too pure for the world of the living, and like people took
Mhm.
advantage of her because she was too pure, and so she went to live in the world of the dead where people couldn't take advantage of, you know, people with pure hearts.
Right.
So it's
Wow.
interesting stuff, you know.
Yeah. And the renderings are just chef's kiss. Chef's
Thank
kiss.
you.
Yeah. I Tracy, you are just the bee's knees and the honeycomb. And I just I am so honored that you came today and spoke with me and the audience because you have just made the world such a brighter place. Um the very
Literally with the colors.
with the colors. No, and you have to forgive me. Like I did hair for a super, super duper long time. And one of my favorite things was hair color. And to watch the development of color, it takes a certain person to make that happen. But to see someone take, yellow and blue, make it green, but to know how many greens you have in the world, that's folks don't look at it like that. But you have a gift. That is a true gift. And to be able to translate code into into a language that all of us can use, your air, your water.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but I think it does need to be talked about. Illiteracy is still a problem. It's still a big problem. Just because we're in the first world and we have all these advantages doesn't mean that we can forget, like, sometimes people are just trying to race to the future so fast. Not everyone's caught up. You've got to meet the world where it's at,
Mhm.
and it's not, I mean, we're still at a place where not everyone can read. So images matter, visuals matter, representation matters. The way that we communicate um, with the things that we see are almost more important than the words that we read, because like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Thanks, Tracy. What
Thank you.
you are 155.777999% right. And I could not have said that better myself. What advice would you give, if there's any advice, to people that are watching right now or in the future, and they're saying, "Man, I want to try something new. I am an artist, or I am in a certain career and I want to be an artist, but I also want to do tech
Mhm.
because I need to pay my bills," or whatever their thing is.
Whatever their conceptions are about, because there's that
That's
starving
it.
artist stereotype, right?
Yep.
And in the modern day, I got to be quite frank with you, there's absolutely no reason um, that you have to think that being an artist means that you have to commit yourself to poverty in any type of way. You can make great money doing art. You can make money doing tech. I think it's about your approach to your career. Like, if I and I think that's with anything, because you can also, if you're in a employee mindset, if you're in a worker mindset where you're like, the only way money is made is, if I get a 9 to 5, and that 9 to 5 needs to be like 6 figures, otherwise, da da da. Like, I've had I've had that, but it was never my goal. You know what I mean? It was about um, how what I do affects the world around me. So I want you to focus on how you can improve the world around you with value and impact with whatever you're doing, you know? Because if somebody can make millions of dollars selling bottled water, then you can sell your art. Like, people sell crazy stuff all the time. Like, you can
Talk
sell
about it.
anything. So
Yeah.
learn sales, um, believe in the value of what you can do, get really good at it, and know what you have. That's another big thing. Know what you have to offer. Because when I went to Google, a lot of people, like, I had engineers on the team that was like, why do we need an artist?
Hmm.
They couldn't imagine, like, what's she doing here? Like, what is she here for? And then after they saw what I did and created with their product and the results of it from the users and consumers, they're like, oh, that's why we need art, you know? So, um, know what you're bringing to the table and show out.
By the way, I love what you did with the whole Google thing with the Harriet Tubman and the
Thank you. I loved it too. They wouldn't put it on the website though, because they said it was too controversial, but
relay.
it was one of my favorite doodles that I did, but never got to. It's a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of clients off of it. Actually, a lot of people have been like really attracted to it, but
If
it
y'all
wasn't official.
go on Tracey's website and look at her Google Reel.
Oh,
And
should I play it?
please go look. I don't mind. Yeah, because your work and the one with the roses. Oh my goodness. And the I think it's roses and someone's reading or something like that. It's really
Yes.
that one. So beautiful.
So remember what I said about illiteracy? So this woman was an advocate in Spain for female literacy, and she's a big reason why women were able to start learning to read and stuff during her lifetime. And so I wanted to show, it was like back in like the 18th century or something, but like I wanted to show her along with like all the modern little girls who now are literate because of the work that she did.
Wow. That's so cool.
Here's the reel. Sha-la-la-la-la.
Heidi is so cute. I mean, with the confetti, how can you go wrong?
Yep.
So cool. Just y'all go out. I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of links if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And what again, how you are you are the code translator. And we just love that. How can people stay connected with you?
Great question. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Etsy, LinkedIn, Twitter. I will give you all the links to my socials so that way everyone can stay in touch. I'm really present and forward about my art on social media again, because I really hope it reaches people who are curious about, can you really make a career as an artist nowadays? Like, will I be able to feed myself, have a family, buy a house if I'm an artist? Yes, you can do all that and more. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we can be able to shout out your cat. Can we get your cat's name?
Yes. Where is he? There he is, my little baby. Hello, Ginger. This is my son, Ginger.
Hello, Ginger.
Hi, Ginger.
Oh, and he's giving kisses.
He's a very good boy.
Now, do you have any art of Ginger?
You know, recently for a Halloween card that I did, I drew Ginger on it. It's really cute.
I know it is. He's just the most special, sweetest. Oh, I love Ginger. Oh,
he wanted all this attention this whole time. He was like, "Why aren't you focused on me?"
I know. Oh, yes. I know Leslie is probably thinking, oh, I love him. That's too. So thank you, Tracey. Thank you so much. And I'll go ahead and wrap up the show. We went over a little bit, but you know what? I do not regret not a moment of this day, of this time that you've blessed us with. Thank you so much for your time and your story. It's been great.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure. Your audience is wonderful. You're wonderful. I hope you keep doing this incredible work. And I hope everyone goes out there and makes what they want to see in the world.
Aw, yes. Everybody, you have just been a part of like a complete love fest. We are so happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for joining Tracey and I here on Tish Talks Tech. We'll be back next week. You can do anything you put your mind to, and there's room for you. And there's room for you in tech, and you can be a wonderful translator of tech through art, just like Tracey Laguerre. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.